Welcome to Mo Squared. We're two coaches who are trying to give you a few tips that might make your life a little bit easier. And we do that through our own experiences, through coaching, and a variety of other experiences. And today, we thought we'd talk about jargon. So, Mo, what's what? And I'll explain just a little bit. There's jargon in any discipline. So coaches have their jargon, their words that are specific for certain purposes. And just like medicine has the jargon, and so does trauma support or counseling or whatever. And so we thought we'd just talk about that a little bit to demystify it. So Mo, what's a jargony word that might not make sense or make people think that coaching is kind of woo-woo, out there, flaky?
All right. I love it because one of the terms that is in my own head these days that I use is what lights me up. And what I really mean by that is what actually is energizing me.
Yeah. And how would somebody know what energizes them? Like, what do you pay attention to?
Yeah. So for me, what I've learned to pay attention to, and it's not been an instant thing, and I'm going to back right up because it started way back in 1993 when I was bicycling in Eastern Canada, and I ran out of food. I didn't have enough fuel in my body, and that there was a connection to my body at that point. And I stopped my bike and I had some snacks, and I could instantly feel this a new energy coming into my body. And so it's almost as if that was the launch pad for me to start paying attention to what do I need. And so what lights me up or what gives me energy, sometimes it's actually something really specific, like I need food, I feel drained, I feel irritated or shaky. And other ways of what lights me up or what gives me energy is a sensation in my body of, oh, I feel kind of now I'm going to go into jargon. I feel alive. And I contrast it with the drain, where I feel like sometimes something's just pulling my energy out of me, and I think and I feel sluggish or I feel heavy. And when I feel energized, I feel like I've got literally a lot of energy and interest and enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And you can imagine a state like that where you're kind of fueling yourself. If you take it, for example, your bike trip, you
Yes.
fuel yourself a little bit. I had the same experience one time hitting the wall at the base of a mountain when I was going to go up the mountain, right? Well, I didn't think about every so often eating something, like every half hour or every hour eating something to get me up the hill. But that, in a sense, is what the idea of energizing ourselves, so that we are this fountain of energy to keep on enjoying and thriving, which brings us to another jargon term. What is thriving?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah. What is thriving? And it's for me, I feel like I'm living my life in a really meaningful way. And that too might sound a bit jargony because because for me it's I notice the little things in life that actually give me joy. I notice when there's birds out in my yard. I notice when the sun is coming up and I'm outside with my dog, and it's like I stop and notice, I pause or slow down. And I also thought about what am I grateful for? Because that helps me to feel like I'm thriving in my life. I'm noticing the things in life that actually make me feel good.
And then we
What about you?
typically, well,
Mhm,
so just building on that thought, that
mhm,
often they're small enough that they're easy to overlook. So
mhm.
we don't actually let them, we don't actually land on them and go, oh, yeah, I noticed that, and I let that energize me, like give me a bit of fuel. Instead I gloss over and go to the next thing. And if I just spent a moment there in that joyful space, then I would actually have just eaten a bar of chocolate on my way up the mountain. Um, and and what I was thinking in terms of thriving or feeling alive or any of those terms is it's kind of like there's a yin yang balance where I use energy, I gain energy, I use it, I gain it, I use it, I gain it, I use it, I gain it. And so I'm in this kind of steady state that's not flat. It's like that, or like that, or however I like it to be. And everybody has whatever wave pattern works for them. Some people like big ups and big downs, and that's great. If you feel like supercharged with that, have at her. Other people don't like that. Other people just like, a little wavy pattern. They like the same, same, same. That's okay too, if they feel like they're having a great life.
Yes, absolutely. And Maureen, before we wrap up today, that last piece is so important because we don't go like this in our lives. We do have these, and they can be just the tiny or they can be the big. Um, and we need that, and recognizing that we are going to have, I think of those in my simple terms, it's little ups and downs, and the ebbs and flows of life. And in order to feel like we're living our lives, that we're thriving, or we're having joy in our lives, or we're feeling energized and lit up, sometimes we do need to slow down and notice, pay attention, take a pause, take a breath, one or two breaths. When
It and it doesn't have to be a long thing or a big,
Mhm.
like half an hour, right? We're talking 30 seconds, we're talking 1 minute. So they can be really small and not time intensive for
Mhm.
busy people.
Yeah, and they can be sometimes 5 seconds or 10 seconds. Like,
Yeah.
it's often we get the idea it has to be these big things. So thank you so much for continuing to remind us, Maureen, that it is those small things.
And it's
Awesome.
the habits. You make those
Yes,
into a habit and then it's automated. You don't even have to think about it.
that's right.
So, all right.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. So to have more information about you, Mo,
You can go to mo-caley-verdonk.com. And you, Maureen?
maureenmayhew.com. Until next
Awesome.
time.
We'll see ya.